And welcome back to Trailer Trash TV. We're rounding out this season, as you can see, in downtown. Okay, I can't say downtown on technicality. We're coming to you just off the Vegas Strip, so to speak. After a couple shows back where I was on location in Vegas, well, they done hauled my ass out. I had a police escort to get me to the outskirts of the city, and they told me never to come back. Something about breaking Vegas and stuff like that. But anyway, welcome back to this week's show. We're going to launch right into our Hitchcock block, as it were, and kick into, oh, this is a good block this week. We're going to launch into probably another one of my favorite Hitchcock films. I'm a huge fan of Hitchcock, if you haven't been able to tell. We're going to launch into Rear Window from 1954, and then kick into Catch a Thief from 1955. And rounding out this block, we're going to kick into The Man Who Knew Too Much from 1934. So with that said, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back to chat about Master of Suspense. Stay tuned.
This is the scene of the crime, a crime of passion, filmed in a way you have never seen before, and as no one else would dare attempt. But the screen's master of suspense, the producer-director who shocked the world with Psycho. This is the apartment of a man named Jeffries, a news photographer whose beat used to be the world. Right now, his world has shrunk down to the size of this window. He's been watching the people across the way. Nobody seems to pull their blinds during a hot spell like this. He knows a lot about them by now. Too much, perhaps. For instance, down there on the second floor, the woman pacing about. He calls her Miss Lonely Hearts. So lonely that even death seems like a friend. These are the newlyweds on a honeymoon no one will ever forget. He calls her Miss Hearing Aid, an artist of a very odd and strange art. The songwriter who plays the same melody over and over again. A genius or insane? This is the traveling salesman and his invalid wife. Out of their arguments and nagging comes a weird kind of love. Miss Torso, the body beautiful. That is, viewed from a safe distance.
Those are just a few of my neighbors. First, I watched them just to kill time, but then I couldn't take my eyes off them, just as you won't be able to.
And you won't be able to take your eyes off the glowing beauty of Grace Kelly, who shares the heart and curiosity of James Stewart in this story of a romance shadowed by the terror of a horrifying secret. Grant and this year's Academy Award winner, Grace Kelly. Two exciting personalities who were made for each other. And now Alfred Hitchcock brings them into very close contact in this perfect tale of romantic intrigue, filmed on the beautiful French Riviera.
You have a very strong grip, the kind a burglar needs.
That's why you came out here, isn't it?
The scandalous romance that shocked even the blasé international set between this restless, thrill-hunting American heiress and the notorious man of mystery called the Cat. For the game they played was not played for money, and the characters they played with played for keeps. No one but Hitchcock could create such relentless excitement. filling the screen with fireworks as he matches the blazing talents of these two great stars in the love affair of the year.
Look, John. Hold them. Diamonds. Have you ever had a better offer in your whole life? One with everything.
Come down, Robbie, or we shall be forced to shoot.
Doris Day has gladly consented to sing a few songs for us tonight.
Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera.
You're right, that was a gunshot you heard. That was the signal that brought all the trouble out into the open. It's a scene from our new picture, The Man Who Knew Too Much. As you know, Alfred Hitchcock has an uncanny knack for coming up with the unusual in entertainment. Well, The Man Who Knew Too Much can certainly be put in that category. I play the part of an American doctor. Doris Day is my wife. And the story is about our trip abroad that started out as a holiday and ended up as a nightmare. And to film it, Hitchcock took us thousands of miles away from Hollywood to Marrakesh, which is right in the center of the North African trouble area. And that was just the beginning. From there, we flew to London for backgrounds of a whole strange series of events that ended up that final night in the great concert hall, where the cue for murder was one single crash of the cymbals.
Okay, for those of you that have been curious about the backdrop this time around, these are actual shots that I had taken while I was in Vegas. These from the Star Trek Experience at the Hilton. Wonderful, wonderful accommodations there, as well as basically any hotel on the Strip. They really know how to take care of their people, and I can't thank them enough for that. Rear Window from 1954. Early James Stewart, Hitchcock. Excellent, excellent film. And like I said, time and again, you know, being a master of suspense means you don't have to rely on a lot of gimmicks to put your film across. You can rely a lot on mood and music. You can rely a lot on the suspense factor. The people knew how to act. You relied a lot on the actors themselves, and it makes for a well-rounded film. You know, I mean, the story obviously is number one. You got a good story to work on. You got a good film to go into it. So, with that said, Rear Window from 1954, To Catch a Thief. Excellent, excellent film from 1955. And then The Man Who Knew Too Much, way back from 1934. Early Hitchcock, yet still a classic. So with that said, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come right back with what I like to call my Birth of Hollywood block. Right on the heels of last week's Jazz Singer, we're going to follow it up in the 1930s. Stay tuned.
I have a riddle for you. Why does everybody around here say Gibbons is good? Even Brando knows the answer to that. Right, Marlon?
I know why everybody says Gibbons is good. You want to know why everybody says Gibbons is good? I'll tell you why everybody says Gibbons is good. Everybody says Gibbons is good. Is good. Is good.
I don't think my husband would divorce me if I made a bad cup of coffee. But good coffee is important to him. He's a writer, and he likes to drink it while he works. The only coffee I have in my home is Maxim. It tastes like good perk coffee. Well, we honestly think Maxim is the best coffee we've ever tasted.
Freeze-dried Maxim. It tastes like good perked coffee.
Favor lets the beauty of the wood shine through.
Your furniture ever look a little dull or streaky? Maybe you've got a wax buildup problem. And maybe you should be using Favor. Watch, I'll use a wax pencil, then more wax. Now there's a dull, smeary kind of wax buildup. But self-cleaning Favor cuts through that waxy mess, cleans it away. Use Favor for a fresh, clean shine every time you dust.
Favor lets the beauty of the wood shine through.
Okay, it's that time again. Time for my gratuitous plugs. I gotta thank the Las Vegas Chamber of Commerce for, God forbid, allowing me into their fair city and letting me get so many of the backdrop shots as you see behind me. Thank you for your accommodations. Thank you for your hospitality. You can guarantee I'll be back. SJ Trailer Trash at Yahoo. Let me know what you think of the show, whether it's any time this season, whether it's the Vegas shows in particular. Let me know what you think. And while we're at it, might as well plug the website too. You saw it coming. www.trailertrashtv.150m.com. So with that said, we're going to launch into my Birth of Hollywood block. We're going to go into 1932's Freaks, Todd Browning's cult classic at this time. Very left of center, very odd, very funny at times, at the same time very disturbing at times. The classic film nonetheless. We couldn't touch it now with a 10-foot pole. And rounding out this block, a film based on a book by Pearl S. Buck, The Good Earth, from 1937. So check these out, and we'll be right back.
They're going to make you one of them, my peacock.
When I go back in that house, it will be with my son in my arms, and I'll show myself and my son to all of them. If you love me, if I please you,
It shall be done. Anything. As a woman. Not such a one as you. Not as good as you.
but she is beautiful.
She's beautiful.
Okay, well, welcome back to Trailer Trash TV. I'm still your host, Scotty J. And before the break, we were talking about Todd Browning's Freaks, as well as The Good Earth from Pearl Buck. Freaks was classic in the respect that it took physical animalities, the circus sideshow freaks, and showed the human side. Let actual sideshow attractions play themselves. It's a very moving, very disturbing film in a lot of ways, but it's an excellent film if you get the chance to see it. By all means, please check it out. The Good Earth, I honestly have to apologize. I don't have a lot of background in this, mainly because I never read the book, and I'm not going to try to fake my way through something about the film since I have honestly never seen the film either. But that notwithstanding, we're going to take a break, and we're going to continue on with the MGM musicals when we come back.
Recognize this beautiful singer? Of course. She's glamorous movie star Yvonne DiCarlo.
I find music a great relaxation, especially after hours under those baking studio lights. Among other things, you should see how they dry out your hair. That's why I use Luster Cream, the shampoo that never dries. It beautifies. Its lanolin best lather leaves your hair soft and shining, and so easy to manage. It's no wonder 4 out of 5 top Hollywood movie stars and beautiful women all over America have made Luster Cream the fastest-selling shampoo of all.
Yes, Hollywood's favorite, Luster Cream Shampoo, has become America's favorite, too. The fastest-selling shampoo of all. In cream and lotion form, Luster Cream shampoo never dries, it beautifies. See Yvonne De Carlo starring in William Dieterle's Magic Fire, a Republic picture.
I think this is the perfect setting for delicious Minute Maid orange juice. Minute Maid belongs here because it's good, natural, like the great outdoors. Minute Maid is 100% orange juice. And boy, does it taste good. Olé! Whoop. A rim shot. Crosby clan always drinks Minute Maid at home, wherever home happens to be. You know it's delicious. It's Minute Maid.
Have a pizza, pizza, pizza roll. 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 Talking now a frozen appetizer was a dreadful bomb. It was something you just think they dropped into a potted palm. 7 with a Gino, pizza roll, a shit to save the day. Appetizers now at last are edible. That's why they say have a pizza, pizza, pizza roll.
I'd like to talk to you about that music you're using.
That's funny. I've been meaning to speak to you people about the same thing.
Have a pizza roll, Kimasabi.
Look for Gino's pizza rolls and serve this new hors d'oeuvre.
Just take them out of the freezer, pop them in the oven for 10 minutes. That's it.
Who was that masked man anyhow?
I don't know. And I wanted to thank him.
Pizza roll!
Okay, so before I go any further, I gotta give the gratuitous plugs. SJ Trailer Trash at Yahoo. Let me know what you think of either the rest of the season or the Vegas shows in particular. Let me know what you think in no uncertain terms, whether you liked it, whether you hated it, whatever. And www.trailertrashtv.150m.com is the website. Check it out. Lots of information on there, lots of links on there. And lastly, I have to give a big shout out and a big thank you to the Las Vegas Chamber of Commerce, as well as the staff and management of the Stratosphere where I stayed while I was out there. Your hospitality is second to none. I gotta give you guys big hats off and a big thank you. I can guarantee I'll be back probably next year. So therefore, we're gonna take a break. No, we're not gonna take a break. We're launching into a trailer. See, I lose track when I see there's the Stratosphere right way up. I was way up there, but we're going to launch into our MGM musical block again. Continuing on from last week's show with That's Your Entertainment, we're going to launch into the first of two sequels that were done. That's Your Entertainment 2 from 1976. I can't express my appreciation any more than I have already on the MGM musical. It's something that can't be touched anymore in this day and age. And the feeble attempts that were attempted in the late 70s, early 80s, you know, they were stink bombs, you know, plain and simple. Aside from Grease, you know, you had your Xanadu, you had your Thank God It's Friday, you had your Can't Stop the Music with the Village People. And you saw where those musicals went. So this was the glory days and the heydays of the MGM musical, and the highlights are shown here. That's Your Entertainment 2 from 1976. Stay tuned. And, you know, Officer Brian is still allegedly looking for me, so I may or may not be back with Classroom Classics, who knows.
It happened in 1974. The biggest thing in movies since movies began. It brought people together for sheer entertainment. But now, hang on to your hats. Here come Fred Astaire and Gene Kelly to bring you the greatest entertainment since That's Entertainment. That's Entertainment Part 2.
The show must go on is a show business cry.
But there's always someone who wants to know why.
With Robert Taylor, we'll try to come up with an answer.
It's Eleanor Powell, the dancer.
There's no business like show business like no business I know. Everything about it is appealing. Everything the traffic will allow.
I'll build the stairway to paradise with a new step every day. I'm going to get there at any price. Stand aside, I'm on my way.
Oh, we do everything alike. We look alike. We dress alike. We walk alike. We talk alike. And what is more, we hate each other very much. We hate our folks
On the avenue, Fifth Avenue, the photographers will snap us, and you'll find that you're in the rotogravure.
Judy Garland, Leslie Caron, Greta Garbo, Doris Day,
Bob Taylor, Jack Buchanan, Tony Martin, Maurice Chevalier,
Big Crosby, Mickey Rooney, Elner Paulinette Fabre. That's entertainment.
Clark Gable, Melvin Douglas, Bob Montgomery, John Barrymore,
Hermione Gingold, Esther Williams, Frank Sinatra, Dinah Shore,
Francho, Tone, Greer Garson,
Katharine Hepburn, Spencer Tracy, Roddy McDowell, Merloy, and William Powell.
The world is the stage. The stage is a world of entertainment.
Who could ask for anything more?
It's the greatest entertainment since That's Entertainment. MGM's That's Entertainment Part 2. You ain't seen nothing yet.
This Christmas, give the Swinger the incredible new Polaroid land camera for $19.95. Swing it up. It talks to you. Just turn the knob until it says yes right in the viewfinder. Okay, you've got the right setting. 15 seconds later, you zip off a perfect black and white picture. The Swinger freezes action. It's always in focus. It gives you beautiful close-ups. For only $19.95, it's a swinging gift.
Hey, meet the swinger, Polaroid swinger. Meet the swinger, Polaroid swinger.
It's more than a camera. It goes a lot. It's only $19.95.
Swing it up, it says yes. Take the shot, count it down, zip it off. Hey, meet the swinger, Polaroid swinger. Meet the swinger.
Know what separates us cleaning pros from amateurs? We know it takes more than fancy packages to get the job done. What counts is what's inside. Formula 409 spray cleaners, special grease cutters, cleans everything from fingerprints to heel marks. Just spray and wipe. If you run out, reload from the money-saving refill size. For the bathroom, use 409 bathroom cleaner. 409, what counts is what's inside.
Move along with me, get the feel of the road. Move along with me, or you'll never know how great it is just to be. Feel the colors rush by, now you know you're free. Open up your mind, go on and turn the key. Move along with me, move along.
Move along with Impala by Chevrolet.
Impala, where the smoothness is.
Impala,
where the quiet is.
Move along with Chevrolet.
Okay, I'm gonna have to make this quick this week. I'm just gonna go ahead and introduce our Classroom Classics real quick. It's something called Your Junior High Days, and after I was assaulted by Officer Friendly last week, I've had enough. So with that said, I don't know what else to say. What?
What don't you understand about move along? Now don't be here. I told you to leave. Now let's go.
This is my show.
No,
this
move.
is my.
Let's go.
My
Come on.
fine.
I'm not gonna tell you again.
Portrait of a school bus crash. That catastrophic event which happens so seldom, but with such horrifying results. This particular school bus crash happened 25 minutes ago, and because it's night and the police and ambulances are still arriving, no one knows at just this moment how many of Bus 32's passengers are injured or dead. But it's already abundantly clear that there are some fatalities.
Where's the driver?
There's the driver, unhurt, helping the best he can, but burdened with the mind-sickening knowledge that very probably the responsibility for this scene was his. Tomorrow, the newspapers will describe this tragedy in detail. Tonight, the details need no describing.
Get the first aid kit out of your car there. I got a guy right here. Give me a chance. We got internal bleeding here. We got internal bleeding. We're sucking chest. Yeah, I'll be right there. First aid kit. Somebody call the police. The police coming. Over here, Charlie.
Portrait of a school bus driver on his day off. His name is Charlie Schilling, and he's been driving for 16 years without even scratching the paint, as they say in his district. He likes his job, and he's good at it, but he's glad for the day off because, frankly, 5 days of transporting students are enough for anyone. And anyhow, Charlie has a bad cold in the head.
They got a fight on their hands. So come on, let's ride.
But Charlie Schilling's day off is about to go down the tubes, as they say.
Hello? Oh, hi, Rick. Oh, come on. This is supposed to be my day off. Can't you get somebody else to take that trip? Okay. I'll be down in about a half hour, maybe. Man, the way I feel, I should have told him no straight out. Oh, well, that's what I get for answering the phone. Anyhow, I guess I can use the extra money.
And so it begins. A never-to-be-forgotten day, to be entered on the transportation schedule as Fair Oaks football trip.
Hi, Charlie.
Oh, hi.
Sorry to rouse you, but like I said, Wanda's sick.
Yeah. Yeah, so am I. So what's with this football trip?
Going to take the football team over to Fair Oaks, and I'm sorry to tell you, you're already late.
Okay. What's the bus?
32. You better get a move on. The team's waiting for you over by the gym.
Okay, but I've never driven 32 before, and I've never been to Fair Oaks football field before.
Don't worry about it. Bus 32 is just like yours. The coach will show you the way. Now, can you get a hustle on for me?
Okay.
Portrait of a school bus. An immensely complicated piece of equipment in which thousands of parts must work together correctly if the bus is to provide reliable and safe transportation. But school buses get a lot of use, and use leads to wear, and wear leads to worn out, a condition that faces tires, brakes, headlights, warning lights, directional signals, and the thousands of other bus components. Case in point, Charlie Schilling's left front tire, which has developed a serious problem. And when Charlie spots it on his pre-trip inspection, he'll want it replaced immediately. Beginning before the engine is even started, with an under-the-hood examination of water and oil levels and the condition of hoses and belts, pre-trip inspection is required by regulation and common sense by every school bus operation in the land. It is unquestionably one of the most critical tasks that school bus drivers perform. Frequently printed on a thorough check sheet which lists all items in sequence, pre-trip inspections may contain as many as 80 separate items, each of which must be checked before every trip on which students will be carried.
Brakes, horn, defroster,
and the list continues,
heater,
itemizing every bus component, the proper condition and functioning of which is essential to bus safety.
emergency door.
But no list, however comprehensive and well devised, is any better than the driver who uses it. And if just one item is overlooked, the consequences can be catastrophic.
Hey, Charlie, get a move on. The principal's on the phone. The coach is getting sore.
You can tell the coach he can... All right. I'm coming.
What's the coach and teachers know about driving a bus anyhow? It takes time to do this stuff right.
And so, Charlie Schilling continues his already flawed pre-trip inspection. And Bus 32 leaves the transportation yard for the last time. Oh, incidentally, observing as you have what's happened so far, what comments do you have about this football trip to Fair Oaks?
Charlie, where the heck have you been?
Oh, I got a late notice, Coach, that's all.
Behind schedule. Let's go, load up.
Hi, Mr. Schilling.
Oh, hi, Connie. How are you?
Portrait of the passengers. Excited, impatient, anxious, worried about the game ahead. Altogether, a fairly typical football team on the way to an important game.
Big game, huh?
Yeah, sir.
Right. Okay, Coach?
Yeah, we're ready. Let's go.
Okay.
Passengers in their seats, bus on the road. But today, its thousands of parts aren't working together correctly to provide safe transportation. And later, when the question is asked who could have prevented the tragedy, the answer on many lips will be Charlie Schilling. Which introduces the all-important subject of driver responsibility, including the professional responsibility for a scrupulous pre-trip inspection, performed just as thoroughly the 1000th time as the first, in order to find the one or more parts which might not be functioning properly. But not all drivers are responsible.
Nothing's ever wrong with my bus.
It was okay yesterday.
It just came out of the shop.
I'm late. I just don't have time.
Marion checked it this morning.
Excuses? Yes. In fact, words to crash by. Even a factory-fresh bus should be pre-tripped before it carries passengers, because even new parts can malfunction, And only one malfunction can cause a tragedy. To many drivers, it isn't just a question of whether or not a directional signal is working, but what might happen if it isn't working. And at the risk of being thought over dramatic, we suggest that each and every item on the pre-trip checklist be thought of in terms of consequences. The frightening list of what could happen if that particular item failed or malfunctioned.
The emergency door warning buzzer on my bus was broken, but I didn't think it was important because I thought I could keep my eyes on the door. But I was concentrating on the road, and two boys started roughhousing, and one of them fell out. Darn near killed himself.
Well, I knew the windshield wipers didn't work on my bus, but I figured it hadn't rained in a long, long time. So I took the bus out, and it rained. What a cloudburst. And no way can you drive in the rain without windshield wipers.
Kind of embarrassing what happened to me. I didn't check the gas gauge, ran out of gas, full load of kids, on a rainy day in the middle of nowhere.
One of our buses had a loose seat. Nothing that seemed urgent to fix or anything. But I had to make a panic stop one day, and a little girl broke her nose.
A broken right turn signal cost us a few $1,000s in a lawsuit. The driver of the other car couldn't tell I was going to turn right, and before the whole thing was over, the other driver spent some time in the hospital, and I almost lost my job.
Well, I've always had the idea that using a seatbelt isn't that important. But on this one trip, I had to swerve, hit a soft shoulder, and I got thrown into the step well.
There was this one morning when I forgot to check the lug nuts on the front wheel. And before I got out of my parking place, the wheel fell off. Some kids had figured that loosening the nuts would be a good Halloween trick. Funny, huh? That'll never happen again.
Which introduces the subject of vandalism. A costly and dangerous practice which increasingly plagues a lot of bus operations. Broken windows and slashed seat cushions. Dangerous fun with a fire extinguisher? Yes, you know they happen. But also sugar in the gas tank and nails in the tires. How would you like to miss that little booby trap on a pre-trip inspection? If you'd like a personal anecdote, listen to the driver who had his brake lines cut by vandals.
Well, I was in a hurry to leave the yard, and I didn't check anything very well. And when I tried to stop at the stop sign, boy, I sailed right out into the street and up the driveway across from it.
So he returned for another bus, which had the same problem. And as he sailed through the same stop sign for the second time, he became convinced that a complete pre-trip inspection should include a thorough brake test.
Oh, a really tragic thing happened in the district across the river from us. One of the drivers was in a hurry, I guess, and she forgot to adjust her crossover mirror. So she couldn't possibly see the little girl getting her lunchbox home in front of the bus.
You see, the school bus driving profession allows no mistakes. None. And the first place to prevent on-the-road problems is that all-important pre-trip inspection, as Charlie Schilling has been trained to do. Well, you've heard our drivers talk about some consequences of sloppy pre-trip inspections, but what are some other potential consequences? And what constitutes a good pre-trip inspection? Bus at Fair Oaks, excitement in the air. This is the day they worked so hard for and plan to remember always for fun and football. It's a day they will remember for a school bus and its driver, their friend, Charlie Schilling.
You gonna be rooting for us tonight, Mr. Schiller?
You bet, Connie. I'll be over just as soon as I secure this bus.
Okay, see you later.
You bet.
And so, miles from home, Charlie finishes securing his bus. Secure in the knowledge that everything is A-OK. But everything isn't A-OK. And this is the day that Charlie Schilling will scratch the paint. One of the best ways known to bus drivers not to scratch the paint is that all-important pre-trip inspection.
Mirrors clean and properly adjusted.
Emergency exits. Check for proper operation in opening and closing.
Check vacuum tanks.
Check turn signals, right and left, front and rear.
Check tires for condition and pressure.
And the list continues. Because the pre-trip ritual can never be left to chance, whether the inspection takes place in the bus yard or at home. But isn't the responsibility for putting safe buses on the road a team operation involving manufacturers, mechanics, and transportation supervisors as well as drivers? Yes, it is.
All right. Yes, we as manufacturers, as the other manufacturers, try to build the safest bus we can for our children.
My job's to put the safest buses on the road possible. How can I do that if the drivers don't write them up and tell me what's wrong with them?
Andy, we seem to have a problem. We've got some kind of a strange noise up front.
You can't tell for sure.
Well, there's a lot of times, and most of the times, that I'd rather get out myself and drive that bus and see or feel it myself, because until you really know or feel, it's hard to pick up a problem that a driver has with it.
All righty.
There, we're picking it up a little bit. Can you hear it?
Yeah, I think I got it, Dick.
As supervisor, dealing with professionals, I feel like this. Pre-trip inspection is the driver's most important function of the day.
But while the team is behind the wrench or the phone or the desk, it's the driver who ends up behind the wheel. And if there's trouble or tragedy, it's the driver who's always there when it happens.
Before I ever leave the bus yard, if there's anything wrong with the bus, the mechanics know about it immediately.
We check out our bus each time before we leave the yard. We're encouraged to write down specific problems that may be wrong with our bus.
Not only is it important to check out the bus and to know that it's in good shape to make the trip, it's also important for the bus driver to pre-test himself to know if he's ready to make the trip, because out on the road, anything can happen.
A pre-trip inspection for drivers, too. A kind of self-inspection to answer the question, am I ready to get behind the wheel? Yes, because the driver is an even more complicated piece of equipment than the bus. And good as the bus may be, it's no better than its driver is. Today. Sick today? Taking medication today? Especially angry or upset today? Preoccupied with serious personal problems?
Although I'm not ill very often, I feel it is quite important to let my supervisor know when I'm not feeling well. And being a professional, I would never take advantage of the situation.
Being ready to drive has to do with taking medication, too. I think most people realize there are certain medications that can make driving unsafe. And if my doctor ever prescribes medication that could make me unsafe behind the wheel of my bus, no way am I going to take that chance.
Well, if a driver comes in angry or upset emotionally, it's kind of a human tendency to hide this or try to. But we've found that if we talk it over with our supervisor, it's much better, and we do not send a driver out, or we don't go out as a driver if we have an emotional upset or we're angry about something.
Bus drivers, like everyone else, have family problems. But if they bring them to work with them, their mind can't be on their job. Their mind's at home.
As a supervisor, my greatest prime concern is the safety, both for the equipment and the drivers. Now, I personally want to be out here to look at the drivers, make sure they've got the right attitude, and that things are going to go well during the day.
I've always told my drivers that if they don't really feel honestly ready to drive, they should tell me. Now, they're professionals, so they'd never take advantage of that. But
Well, there's just no way that I'd send a driver out if that driver didn't feel that he or she was really ready.
Which brings us back to Charlie Schilling and a Fair Oaks football trip.
Hey, Danny, boy, you did it. Great. Great. Oh, girls, you were beautiful. It was your team. We did it, huh? We did it.
Inside the bus, the characteristic confusion of a winning team. On the left front wheel, an uncharacteristic condition, approaching the kind of consequence that will affect the lives of everyone on board.
Okay, settle down. Settle down. Yeah, you won, that was great, but if I'm going to get you home safely, you're going to have to keep down the noise just a little bit, okay? All right, okay.
Passengers in their seats, bus on the road. But tonight, the mood is different because the #1 team is enjoying the ride of football teams everywhere to be excited about its most important victory. Almost home, and with only a few miles left to go, it finally happens.
My God, Charlie, what happened? We blew a tire. Oh, boy, that was close. You're not kidding. Well, I want to see if I can get this thing out of here. All right. It's hung up. I can't get it out. What's the matter with it? I don't know. It's stuck or something.
So often, it's a combination of things that makes the difference. Like right now, with Bus 32 stopped on a curve at night, Charlie Schilling faces the final consequence of a sloppy pre-trip inspection when he opens the cover of his reflector box.
I don't have any reflectors. You're kidding. Where are they? Oh, they're not here.
Well, as they say, that's it. A setup for catastrophe, which will involve everyone connected with Bus 32, and the driver of that big interstate rig just now closing the gap down the highway.
No.
Not much else to say. At just this moment, Charlie Schilling is the only one at the scene who could even describe what happened. But later, an awful lot of questions will be asked about that Fair Oaks football trip and the reasons it never returned home. When the National Transportation Safety Board investigates the crash, they'll fill out a lot of forms having to do with the driver, the vehicle, and the environment. If you had to fill out those forms, what things would you say caused that crash?